Dum da dum da 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 da. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Jessie.
And I'm JJ.
And this is JJ and Jessie channel.
But it's Sunday, and it's Sunday Soul.
Yeah, it is Sunday Soul.
That's the important. Yeah,
and our wallpaper fell down, so we got a white background.
Boom, 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 boom. Wow. And it's funny when that happened. It was actually in the middle of the night. Our dogs started freaking out, and I did too. We both kind of thought there was someone in the house because the wallpaper just started creeping down at like 2 in the morning. So we got rid of it.
Yeah, I think we'll get some good decoration for it.
Yeah.
So in today's video, we're going to talk about
three boundaries to have purity in your relationships.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you
3 boundaries for purity.
For purity, yeah. So if you don't have purity, if you don't have boundaries, it's very easy to probably. I don't know how you maintain purity without having boundaries, because eventually you're just gonna have a line crossed or something that can get blurred. And so having boundaries in place could very well help you and your significant other, spouse, whatever, or well, girlfriend, boyfriend, preserve what God's calling you to do. And so we kind of went through that and looked at some of the things we did, and we thought maybe it would be beneficial to pass forward. So that's what today's video is about.
Yep, so 3 points. So, you tell them number 1.
Okay, number 1 is AKA a curfew. And that sounds so stupid. You're not 16 years old, but what I really mean by that is an old saying that says nothing good happens after midnight. And that is so true, especially when you're attracted to your girlfriend or boyfriend, or you're dating or whatever. You want to spend all your time with that person. And unless you have boundaries in place, you can, before you know it, realize it's 2 a.m. and you got to drive 30 minutes to get home, and you're exhausted, you're physically and mentally drained, and so why don't I just stay over? I mean, Jessie and I, when we were dating, and part of it's because she was Jessie.
I'm a grandma and I go to bed at like 10.
Yeah. But it was good because, I mean, in reality, we didn't do anything really past 10 o'clock. I mean, most of the time, maybe 11 at the latest. But, I mean, very rarely, if at all, it'd be 12. I don't think we ever, very few times had something like that. I'm not saying this is like, you know, we're 15 and you have to have a set curfew. But at the same time, just be aware of the later it gets, the harder it is to remain pure. It just is. I mean, you're going to justify staying over, justify doing something, your brain's shutting off, you're not always thinking.
You're like lingering, you're like looking for an excuse to stay late.
Right, and then you can make it, the good excuse is that it's better for me not to drive under this condition because I'm exhausted, you know, or whatever, and you justify it. But just be on guard with that, because that one's very easy to fall into. So I would say that's number 1.
Okay, number 2 is sleep in separate beds / no overnights. And we all know, because nothing good comes from laying in bed when the lights are out, when you're attracted to somebody. Nothing good comes from it. You can say we're going to stay on separate sides of the bed and we're not going to touch, but you know, when the lights go out and you feel the person's body heat, or you hear them, you know that they're there. You know that they're there.
It's a slow process. It's like a snowball effect. It doesn't turn into an avalanche immediately, but it can start picking up steam pretty quick, and before you know it, all this stuff is just a blurred line. You don't know what's right or wrong, and then you're wondering what's happening. And so just be aware of that. I mean, even with like naps and stuff. I mean, if it's middle of the day and you guys are going to take a nap, just be on guard with some of that stuff so that you're not setting yourself up to just make that part of your routine. You know?
And you may even think it's really innocent when you're laying in bed at night and you're just like, oh, we're gonna lay on separate sides, but then always it's like cuddling. And then when you're cuddling at nighttime and it's dark and you're attracted to something, that's definitely gonna lead to something else. So like you said, it's the snowball effect.
Yeah, we don't want to sit here and say like, hey, we're so Christian, this is exactly what you're supposed to do, and do not do anything else. Like, that's the stuff that Jessie and I kind of make fun of.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like there are real truths in being obedient to set parameters within you and your spouse, what you guys agree upon, to make sure you maintain purity. Some people have better self-control than others.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sitting here saying, don't do this. Like, it's not, there's nothing in the Bible that's like going to be so hardwired about this. But use wisdom. And if it's tempting for you, especially as guys, like I used before, it's like getting on an on-ramp, a highway, like Jessie just said. You start touching, you start feeling, you start doing this. It's an on-ramp, and it becomes nearly impossible not to want to go to the next stop.
So just don't get on it.
So just don't get on it.
Yep. And number 3, we decided is just having fellowship or somebody to root for you, someone that's on your team, because that's really, really important, especially in this day and age when not a lot of people are practicing purity. You have to have somebody that's rooting for you, kind of to help hold you accountable. So if I say, you know, if we're talking to someone and we say, oh, me and JJ are thinking about going somewhere for the weekend, you need somebody to say, oh, really? Like, where are you guys going to stay?
Right.
You need someone to kind of be there and like ask those hard questions.
Right. You need someone you can lean on who understands why you guys are trying to preserve purity, what you're doing. And the people who understand that will be people who are following Jesus as well. They'll understand Scripture, they'll understand why you guys are doing things the way you are, and they'll understand that God's going to bless that, and they're going to help you. They will be willing to help you any way they can. First I was thinking of is 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, so encourage each other and build each other up just as you're already doing. So hold each other accountable, encourage each other in your calling towards purity. By doing that, God will bless it. But you need that accountability. Otherwise, you're going to get tired too. You're not, because people will ask you why you guys are doing this. That's happened to us all the time. Why are you guys doing that? Why are you guys doing that? Why are you guys? And eventually, if you don't have anyone to talk to about it, you get tired. You get burnt out. You don't have a shoulder to turn to. And so we all need that. We're called for that.
Yeah. And it's good for advice too, for someone to say, oh hey, I don't know if you should do that because I've had experience and it didn't go well, or maybe you should stay clear of that. So It's just good to have them for support, someone to root for you, and just someone to give you that advice.
Exactly.
Okay guys, so those are our 3 tips. Thanks for watching, and JJ will see you on What Does the Bible Say Wednesday.
That's right. All right guys, bye.
Bye.